All right, how's everybody doing today? Getting a little bit of a late start. Just making sure I have everything that I need set up. Got all my steel, which we made last week. Hammers, tongs. All right, I think we are good to go. So if you look on the anvil over here, that is the steel that we made last week for my Deba Bocho. So it's 74 layers, 1095, and 15 and 20. And you know what? I'm actually going to take my earpiece out today because I don't really have a reason to hear anything. As long as it's broadcasting, that's all that matters. So right now our steel is, let's just take a quick measurement of that. We're just shy of 5.5 inches. So, but we're a little, I think we're actually a little over. We could be right at, let me just double check. Yeah, we're right at 1/4 inch in thickness. Now obviously we're going to be taking this down a lot more. But we need to get about 12 inches out of this 5.5. I guess I could go a little shorter, but I don't really want to. So, as the project title kind of says, this is actually a knife for my mom. I know. Oh, how nice. In the 25 years that I've been playing around with, making knives, I don't think I've ever made her one. And her birthday is tomorrow, so I didn't do this weekend just because I kind of want to make it a little bit more of a surprise. I'm not sure if she follows me or not, so but I'll show her this video later on. I'm sure she'll watch however many hours of it I make. No, she probably won't. But I figured it'd be nice to make her a kitchen knife. I very subtly the other day went through her knife drawer and she pulled out a Santoku that she was her favorite knife. And it's just one of those, neon colored, pastel colored knives. Probably a Costco special. Came in a pack. Who knows? So figured let's make her one out of Damascus, and hopefully she'll use it. So to start off, I just need to bring that steel up to temperature. Once we get up to forging temperature, I think I'm going to start by drawing it down just about 3/16 of an inch in height. And then we'll start working on the length a little bit. I guess maybe I'll do the sheep's foot taper as well. Because that'll give me a little bit more length, and it's easier to do when it's a little thicker like this right now. I don't know that I've ever made a Santoku before. But like I said, when I was going through her knife drawer and saw this knife, and she said, "Well, that one's my favorite." So I guess I would go with a French knife, but I realize Mom probably likes a little bit more of a rocker. She's used to her old Cutco knives. That's not my style of cutting. I like that more, it's a straight line, a push cut, whereas, with the Santoku, I mean, it's a nice all-around knife. It, has a name that means what? Three virtues in Japanese, meaning that it's good for fish, meat, and vegetables. So it literally is a all-purpose Japanese knife. So we're almost at temp. We're getting up there. I also don't know how much propane I have right now, so I picked the tanks up last night and kind of tried to get a weight on them. But I was cleaning up the shop and kind of exhausted from that anyway, so I don't know, maybe I was just feeling weak, but they felt pretty full, so. And I didn't keep track of how many hours I had used them last week. So if it starts sputtering, I guess I'll have to shut the live stream down and I'll go get more. But I'd like to think that we could at least get a good hour or two of burn out of this. Almost there. Let me just double check something before we get going. I have to say, I think I've come to a decision. After I'm going to live stream today and tomorrow, and then I think I have a class on Friday, making Damascus. So I need to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. And depending on what my students want to do, I like to live streaming on Friday as well during some of the forging. But I figure once I'm done forging this out and putting the handles on it tomorrow, I'm sick and tired of Windows, so I am going to put Linux on the machine down here. Today it was just trying to get the stream up and ready to go, doing my pre-setup checks. Man, everything was just going so slow, and so I eventually programs were crashing and not responding, and I only used 3 pieces of software on here, which Chrome, my web browser, OBS, and what's the other one? My NDI Studio monitor, so I can actually see it up here on the big screen. And I mean, of course, a couple of drivers and stuff. But other than that, I don't know. I might as well keep it really lightweight. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? So yeah, since I'll have a couple of days of downtime built in here, I figure I will just completely strip this computer. Sick and tired of it. So let's start drawing this down a little bit. So I'm just tapering it down. Not sure if you can see that. One of these days, cameras are going to get upgraded too. Swear to God. They're great cameras for security, but when it comes to actually seeing the color on these small little cameras, it kind of sucks. You have a good holiday, Jeff? I did. Friday was kind of slow and boring. Saturday, I had the little one. We just did, daddy-daughter stuff. And then Sunday, she had a horse show. So I went to a horse show expecting that she was going to be doing her class at 10:30. And eventually by 2:30, I think they actually ran her class. So I thought for sure I'd get out of there kind of early. I ended up leaving at like 4 o'clock. And yesterday, the little one and I just did a couple of things, and then watched a movie together. And now she's in school today, so took her back to her mom's last night. You know, when you're not wearing your earbuds, the hammer's actually a little loud. For wintertime, I can see using those big, like over the ear uh, headphones. And I think, I forget what company, maybe it's still makes a pair that are Bluetooth. Somebody does. But hearing protection with Bluetooth would be really nice, because then I could actually still hear this if I wanted to. Yeah, isn't it amazing how Labor Day holiday, uh, we all tend to labor. My buddy Tim was doing the same thing, apparently. Cleaning up his shop, and I did as well yesterday evening. So, yeah, it's probably too hot to see very well, but you can kind of see how I'm tapering this down. I still want it to be very, very wide at the heel. And it's not cheating per se, it's just some layout work, but I took a dry erase marker and I drew, I portioned everything out as far as my measurement on this anvil, and actually drew my entire blade, at least how I want it to look. So this will be a nice guide for me as I'm forging this down. And where I really want that sheep's foot taper to start, we will be just over 1 3/8 wide. So we still have a little ways to go. But I think with this handle, I'm really, for the tang of this knife, I don't know, maybe about an inch. Hey, Mark. I might only need about an inch or an inch and a half to pull this 5-inch tang out of here. So yeah, I decided not to advertise this stream because I don't know if my mom follows me at all on YouTube or Instagram. I have no idea what she does. But essentially, I didn't want her catching wind that her birthday present, which her birthday is tomorrow, is actually going to be this knife that I'm forging today. So I've got a lot of work to do. But those of you that have been here to class, you know that 2 days is more than enough time to get all this done, and I'm not under the same kind of time constraints that we have in a class. So, but yeah, so right now I'm just roughing everything out. Well, the skill. Yeah, I guess using the skill, that's the easy part once you have it. the most drawn out portion of this is going to be drawing everything out. Again, this is that billet that I did last week. So started out at 5.5 inches long by just about 1/4 of an inch thick and 2 inches tall. And I'm expecting to get a knife 12 inches in length out of this. That's overall. I'm aiming for a 7-inch blade on this. Grab myself something to drink. I rearranged some stuff here in the shop. Hopefully, got a El Cheapo camera supposedly on the way, so we'll see how that works. And then I won't have to bitch and complain about my Nikon DSLR being down here. So let's just take a look here, clean some of this up. Just want to smooth out any hammer marks. And then, of course, I got to start setting down that handle. But once I start making that shape really well, then I can concentrate on making it longer. Boy, it definitely looks a little dark back here in this corner. Then I have washout from other lights over here. I don't know. I think it's entirely too bright in this shop, but that's just me. Okay, so we've got that tapered down the way we want it there. Switch tongs here. I'm just going to divide out the material that I'm going to use for forging down the tang. Hey, how's it going? Is that Jurgen? Yep. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. The topic today, I'm forging a knife for my mom's birthday, which is tomorrow. So I've got a lot of work to do today. I was over there this past week, and very sneakily, I was going through her knife drawer when she pointed out a Santoku that she said was her favorite knife, and it's this like pastel kind of color knife, and I don't know. It's a cheapie, you know, one of those things that comes from a set from a box store. In this case, probably Costco. So I figured, why not take that other piece of Damascus that I made last week, and let's turn this into a Santoku for her. And I don't think I've ever forged a Santoku out before. So I drew everything out on this anvil here. Yes, Tim, like Cutco knives. Which she still loves her Cutco knives. Go figure. How you doing today, brother? So there we go. I don't know if you can see this at all, but I put a notch right here at the bottom. And so this 1.5 inch, 1.25 inch worth of steel by 2 inches, that's going to end up being our handle. All the rest of this is going to be blade. So, yeah, I figure, I don't think I've ever made my mom a knife. And I'm trying to think. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to say this, but I think she turns 74 tomorrow. So, yeah, what the hell? Plus, I get the experience of, making a knife that I've never made before. Wusthof makes some great knives. And when I first started working in kitchens, my entire set was Wusthof. Then I think I got a couple of Henkels, but hey, Nate, glad to see you're here, brother. Sorry, I turned off Discord and I took my earplugs out, so I wouldn't be able to hear it anyway. But I'm making a knife for my mom because it's her birthday tomorrow. So I didn't start it earlier because I don't know. I think my mom follows my YouTube channel, so maybe not. But I didn't want to ruin the surprise, and I'm like, okay, I can do this in a day. Especially since I already had the steel made last week, so this is at 74 layers, 1095, 15 and 20. So I'm just going to try to draw this down a little bit on the hammer. So I'm going to start drawing this down for its thickness right now before I step it all the way down to my final tang shape. I'm not doing this traditionally like I did the Devabocho last week. I'm going to do, a full tang on this. So a little East meets West. I was debating as well whether or not I want to do this traditional with a single bevel, or that nice chisel edge that I happen to really like, but it might screw Mom up. It's not one of those things that I don't think she's ever used a single bevel knife before. So, oh, cool! You finally got it in. Sweet. Yeah, hopefully tonight I'm going to transfer our game server over to my one laptop. Going to make the laptop into a server, since the video on that laptop kind of screws up when it's been on for a couple of hours. Think the card overheats or something and just gets a little flaky. So figure a headless operating system on there that I just terminal into. That's perfect for it. And it's a great computer. So maybe we'll test both things out. Should be pretty easy though. I think I just have to clone the drive and we're good to go. So there we go. We're about half the length that we need, but we're also, pull that back a little bit. I moved the camera around, so now it's right here on the anvil. Oh, nice, nice. Those are the really nice dies, right? Yeah, Angelus, that's it. Hey, we're nerds. What can I say, Jeff? We still like playing our tabletop, pen and paper games, even though it's not pen and paper anymore. We have software that does that, but it's pretty much like being in high school still. What's nice is it gives us something to do, on a Friday night or whatever, and just get to have interaction with, friends that are all across the country. I mean, we're literally coast to coast with this game. Nate's in Jersey, and my buddy Eric is all the way out in LA. So we are playing a homebrew game using the Pathfinder system, really similar to D&D 3.5. So, but it's a game that we started a couple of years ago, actually right here in the forge. Cleared the anvils out of the way. I set up a big U-shaped table, and we had a whole evening of a couple friends of mine, sitting around the table, and we played, and that kicked off the game, and we're still kind of in the same campaign, but we play every other Friday night, and we broadcast it on Twitch. This past week was kind of a shit show, just because we were going with new software, so. So I can take this down, see if that shows up on there. I think I can take this down to about half that thickness again, and that'll give us twice the length there. So but it's also a really good size that I can hold on to it with these tongs when I want to work the blade. So I'm gonna do one more drawing pass on this, just to get it a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna switch around and start the blade. 3D printing, yeah. I guess there's a slight difference. I mean, we use a lot of stuff created for other game systems, in it as well. We just kind of adjust them for what we need. But essentially, I think Pathfinder Paizo is the name of the company that created it. I think they kind of created it in response to D&D fourth edition, and essentially, 4th edition was kind of broken, and so they came up with Pathfinder to fix a lot of the issues with it. And then it just kind of really became its own game system. Some people like to call it Mathfinder, because there seems to be a lot more math involved, but good. So that's a lot closer to the thickness that I wanted there. You can see that up in the top left of the screen. What kind of PLA do we need for that, Nate? I'm assuming the normal run-of-the-mill stuff is not what we want to use. Although I guess with wet leather, it probably doesn't matter. Especially not for something that, we consider like a temporary stamp. If we want to have it permanently made, you can always talk to Maria Honig. That's cool. Yeah, I just didn't know if it had to be some sort of fancy thing. Like I said, if you're not expecting to get a million uses out of it, especially if it's a lot of one-shot stuff. Although, we do know a guy who has an X-Carve, if Tim's still here. Yeah, we just have the one printer here, and then we've also got a laser etcher as well, which is really nice on the leather and stuff like that. So I'm going to start drawing out the thickness of this. Oh man, a Glowforge. I get it. They're very intuitive. I just remember when they were a lot cheaper when they were first launching on Kickstarter. Of course, then you'd swear that you never would have gotten your Glowforge either, from what I remember. It only took a year and a half longer than what they said it would. Yes, Mister, I need a dual head 3D printer for work. Well, Nate, maybe there will be one in your Christmas stocking here at the Forge. So I've got about an inch and a half yet to go on the blade. But otherwise, our thicknesses and stuff are just about perfect. Or our widths, I guess. Nate, I didn't say it was going to be a full-scale working one. maybe I'll make a small 3D printed one. Yeah, Tim's got the cool 3D printer. Yeah, the Huawei or whatever, Hung Yao, I don't know. It's all Greek to me. But I do have to say, Tim, with your dual head one, yeah, that just seems like twice the problems. Yes, you're the only software developer I know that needed a 3D printer for his home office. Are you saying that because I don't level the bed, that might be why I get things screwing up on it? Weird. I didn't realize there was maintenance with it. So as far as the length goes here, yeah, just about an inch off, but I want to take that a little bit further. Just because I'm going to actually end up shaping the tip of this knife on the grinder, I think. So I really want to pull out another. If I pull out another inch and a half, that'll give me a nice margin to deal with. Yes, virtual war games. Who knew? Probably doesn't create as much anxiety for them. You know, they just get to stay at home in their mom's basement. I just kind of wanted to use the hammer today. But, you know, if you insist, I could go ahead and roll this out just a little bit. I had thought about it. It's just everything was going so nice on the hammer, but also I needed to do that last pass there anyway. Just because if the surface isn't smooth, the roller really doesn't like it. Let's tighten it up just a little bit. But this will take out, you know, any deep marks from that hammer. Not that there are any. Yes, Jeff, I'm breaking in that new belt. Eventually, I'm sure that belt will give up the ghost. But you know, it lasted a good amount of time. And there's also, you know, there's a lot of students using it, so it's not like the hammer gets used consistently. Wow, I just heard the shop phone ring back in the office. I think that means it's actually working again. Ugh. Well, that's good. At least certain configurations are going well. All right, let's see if we can get a little bit more length out of this. Now, of course, I'm still going to have to do some hand forging on this to get the spine close to where I want it. No, Nate, I didn't. I don't think I did. Which leather sewing machine is that? Oh, okay. You sent it last night. Yeah, I haven't been on aside from closing out Discord when the computer rebooted. That's the closest I've gotten to it today. Yes, Tim, I need to clear out a space in my basement for the FAF. But we will gladly give it a new home. And then I just need to get a stepper motor kit for it, right? Because I'm sure you're going to make that stepper motor you already have into a robot or, something cool. Yeah, I have the perfect spot. There's a whole room in the basement that has an outside entrance that I think would be perfect for that machine and table. Then I can move all the major working stuff up there and maybe make some room here in the shop. I don't think that motor has enough horsepower to make a variable speed grinder. It's really only designed for a sewing machine. For a variable speed grinder, you probably want a 3 horsepower 3-phase motor, and then you use a VFD to take that 3-phase or to run the 3-phase motor off of single-phase electric. But it also controls the speed then. But the reason why you want like 3 horsepower is basically the way the VFD works. I guess when you're running at the lowest speed, you're also running you get some torque out of it, but you're not getting the full power behind the motor. So if you just tried to do it with a 1 horsepower motor, I think it would be severely undersized. You'll be the only person with a variable speed 1/30. But you can sell the design to Harbor Freight. Here, Nate, I'll actually log into Discord. I take it you put that on the Underhill server? Record some bugs. I think I've seen that video before. I'll have to watch it just to make sure. But yeah, Tim's already figured all that out with the FAF. So and it's a nice machine when it's actually working at the right speed. So let's see how we're doing there. Need to get a little bit more length out of it. But that's fine. We'll just take it a little thinner. No one's going to complain about a thinner chef's knife, right? I just don't want to take it too thin before I start grinding it. So Nate, when you coming up? I'm sure other people want to see you working in this shop, not just me. I know the leather stuff's going to be a lot more entertaining. I'll translate that as meaning not sure yet. I'll send you the weekly circular for Carnes, and that way you can get Steph's permission. Let's check the length there. So our blade's where I want it. But our tang is a little thinner than the blade section. So what I'm going to do is actually roll this blade down a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, so if I use the roller and I take the blade thickness down, it basically just means I'm going to steal a little bit of material from that extra blade length that we have. So that'll work out fine. My daughter got really upset yesterday. We were having a conversation And I was explaining to her, she said, Dad, when's my birthday? And I said, well, it's not for a little over 6 months. And she yelled, 6 months? She really wanted her birthday to be like next week. I don't know why. Maybe there's something she wants. Even with a 6-inch blade, this is pretty nice. Traditionally, a Santoku, the blade length is between 5 inches and 8 inches. So I just arbitrarily picked 7. I said, oh, it sounds good. But quite frankly, if it comes out to 6.5, I'll be happy with that as well. I mean, at the length it is right now, the blade is a great size, but I know that I'm going to have to steal a little bit in order to make this handle work. Although, I don't know that I want to go... I do. I want to go a little thinner yet on that blade. Yeah, there's probably some new pony or whatever that she needs, or thinks she needs. I don't know. It's so hard to keep track. Mom, if you're watching this later, now I know all the hell that you went through. Because kids just change their mind about stuff all the time. Although, when I was a kid, we had the Sears catalog and the JCPenney's catalog, and I used to circle stuff with a pen that I really, really wanted. Need to get some catalogs for Olin this year. She had one last year for, I guess Amazon sent them out with a whole bunch of different kids' toys and stuff. So that actually helped with Christmas shopping, looking through her wish book. I think just another roll on that blade, and we'll be at a very comfortable thickness. Yeah, we didn't have a Toys R Us near us, Mark. Not until later on. We had Children's Palace and KB Toy Store. But other than that, we had Kmart. It took me, I want to say it took me 3 weeks. I got 50 cents a week for allowance for doing chores around the house, taking out the trash, feeding the dog, stuff like that. And so yeah, I got 50 cents a week, and I think a GI Joe figure I think was $1.50. So it took me 3 weeks to get a new GI Joe figure. Yeah, it's real nice thickness there. Let's check our handle. It's roughly the same. I want to check the length. So my overall length is now right. So now I'm going to fix the handle. I actually want this handle to come up. I want it proud over the spine. I want to lift the hands away from your cutting surface, from the cutting board. Even though this is a really nice tall blade, so it is going to do that naturally, but just keep them away a little bit more. Yeah, KB Toys, I think, only shut down a couple of years ago. But that's where I used to go for all my Atari games, and then also for my NES games. Because Babbage's and Electronics Boutique were more about computer games at the time. Really? KB Toys shut down 15 years ago? Well, time flies when you're having fun. I swear there was one in Park City Mall that was still open. Of course, I can't tell you the last time I was at Park City Mall. So, but like I thought it was open the last time I was in there. Which, now that I think about it, could have been 15 years ago. It's kind of scary. No, Mark, time does not have to be linear. Do you know that Sound Blaster still makes audio cards, Tim? I had no idea. I thought all the onboard audio was good enough. I mean, I think I've got 7.1 available or 5.1 on my motherboard for the Hackintosh. But I was having problems with the internal sound this week. And, after the power surge and my computer died, I had to reinstall the operating system 3 different times to get it right. And then try to restore stuff, and it's still not back 100% on the Mac. But yeah, so I was looking around, and I'm like, what about USB sound cards, And apparently they still make USB and MPCI cards. It's like I had no idea that Sound Blaster or Creative was still in business. Just crazy. So I'm going to come off the end of the anvil here. I don't know if it's obvious how I just did that, but I shifted it up. Oh. When I take a break here, I have to look around for some black iron pipe. I need 10 feet of it. I'm going to put a pipe across the shop for mounting the camera to. A tripod just doesn't make sense if I want to stream classes. I want that camera up and out of the way where no one's gonna trip over it. Instead, just walk under it. Of course, then watch. First student that walks through the door, once I set that up, it's gonna end up being 7 foot tall and hit his head on the damn thing. But because that's just how it works. Okay, so I'm gonna run this under the hammer just to bring it down consistent. You know, I've actually probably got some 1-inch PVC. The reason why I wanted to go with black iron is, A, it's more rigid, because once I mount a camera on it, say, like in the middle of that 10-foot span, you know, I think the PVC would sway. But also because I can weld caps onto it to drill them into the wall then. What is it, Tim? The gray stuff. And if you're talking about what was run out to your shop, that shouldn't be 1 inch. Cleaning that up. I don't know that I want track around here. I'm pretty sure I have some laying around out back. So I'm not going to run all the way up to Reading. Although it would be cool, I get it. No one needs to run to Reading. No one needs to go to Moses Blick. But what a cool place. Okay. always have to bail on us, Tim. See ya. Gosh, it's like Tim actually has a life. I don't get it. Okay, so we got the rough shape for our Sentoku done. So now I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to bevel this slightly, but I'm not going to go too aggressive with it. I think I want to grind my bevels in just to get that pattern looking a little bit more like lines. Say, buddy. Yeah, using the dry erase marker on the anvil was actually a nice idea. It stays on there just enough to plan out the work and throughout the project, but yet I can wipe it off with a finger. So again, I'm just beveling this very, very lightly. A lot of this is going to end up being grinder work. I'm just trying to make sure that edge is going to be nice and consistent. As far as thickness goes, that way it grinds nice and easy. Okay. Now I'm just straightening things out. This is a perfect example of when I talk about, a lot of times in class I talk about making a knife as though you're stretching the canvas prior to painting the picture. And this is a really good example of that because that's literally what I'm kind of doing right now. I'm not forging to exact shape. I'm forging to a little bit bigger than what I want so I can grind it down just so I can keep that overall shape the way I want it. I'm just going to check this for straightness, make sure there's no twists in it, and then I'm going to let it cool down. Doesn't really matter what hammer I use. So slight bow on the back side there. That looks pretty good. So that is the start of that. Whew. Definitely a little warm in here. It's only 85 outside though. Oh. Where are you going fishing, Jeff? I need to get a bigger boat. AKA, I just need a boat. I need to get rid of my kayak. Get like a little John boat. That sounds like a really nice plan. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow night. Go down to Falmouth with some bluegill. Should be a good night for it. Catch some flathead catfish. Actually use that Deba for what it's intended for. So I'm going to grab a piece of chalk. I love the kayak, but the problem, Nate, is that I had planned on getting a John boat this summer, but obviously with Corona, finances and everything else kind of changed. I like the kayak, but I can't take my daughter on it. It's just not safe, and I want something that she can go out on the river with me, and it's not going to just flip over or whatever. Because she likes to drown some bait, you know. So the tip of a Santoku is about a 60-degree plunge. So I'm just kind of drawing that on there a little lightly with some chalk. And just kind of working out what I think it's going to do. I think I'll be happy with that. Now, I should have more grinding belts sitting in the mailbox right now. I just kind of forgot to collect them on my way down here today, but I know they were delivered. But I will use just an old belt. Who cares? It'll all get the job done for now. All right, Nate. Yeah, I'm probably going to end up taking a break and doing the same here in a little bit. So I'm starting to get a little hungry. But I'll call you later on tonight, and we'll see about getting your new capture card working. Test it out. I just want to get this cool enough that I can dunk it in some water. Might be cool enough that I can go ahead and do this with a yellow crayon, though. Yeah, it's not melting. A little bit more exact than chalk, that's for sure. So, raise that up just a hair. Oh yeah, that's gonna look nice. I can already see the banding on the edges, which is what I want. Good luck, Mark. Cool, I'm gonna rough this out, and then I'm gonna go make some dinner. So, I'm just gonna use a cutoff wheel and trim some of this out. Make it a little easier on me. Thanks for joining us, Mark. Appreciate it as always. Guess it helps if I turn my microphone on. I'm just using that cutoff wheel just to take some of these chunks out. You know, things that, yeah, I can do with the grinder, but it's just going to take a while. Huh. Whole time I was forging, I think I left my vape sit there. All right. Somebody just texted me. You know, when you have wet hands, the whole touching your phone and actually getting it to work just kind of sucks. Let's see. See, it's so much easier when I just send a message. So now that's cooled down, I'm just going to go ahead and rough this out just a little bit. So I want to start by taking the spine area right here. That's going to get leveled out. I want this handle to come up a little higher. And I like this sort of rounded belly shape there. And then, of course, I need to trim up. I'll probably start with the very tip of this right now. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can kind of see that on the camera. But again, with this Santoku style knife, I just want to bring that sheep's foot style, that shape down at about a 60-degree angle. So that tip is looking good right there. I hope Mom will like it. I mean, I know she'll like it. She'll be polite about it. But I hope she uses it. I'm going to try to make it as comfortable as possible. I'm not saying she's old, because that would be wrong of me to say, but, as we get older, our hands cramp up a little bit more. We have different requirements for what we think is comfortable. So I want to try to make this a little bit more ergonomic, keeping in mind who the end user is going to be. I don't have to worry about severely arthritic. I don't think my stepfather even knows where the kitchen is in the house. So I'm just going to shape out the back of this handle. There we go. Looking good. Now it's a little thin here, so I'm going to try to steal a little bit of length away from there. Much better. Clean up that transition area. Congratulations, Mom. You're getting like a $500 knife for your birthday. I can't say that. She'll yell at me. Why didn't you just sell it? I'm happy with my Costco knives, or my Cutco knives, or whatever. You can hear her now. Maybe I won't show her this video. There we go. I want a nice round transition between the heel of the blade and the handle. Cool. So I like that overall shape that we're getting. Very Santoku-like. I still need to address a little bit right in here. Basically from here to here. I want to drop it all down in length or in height. But I want to clean up this edge. And the one that she has that she says is her favorite, a fairly pronounced rocker on it. And I mean, that's not my style of cutting, but you know, this knife isn't for me. So I'm just gonna kind of emphasize the rocker here. Make sure we have a nice, consistent thickness, and also just that I don't want it jagged. I want it just that nice, gentle curve. So that's looking really good. I'm going to change out this belt. Boy, Mark left and everybody stopped talking. Well, and Nate left and Tim left. Gosh, like everybody has something better to do. I know. I'd rather be out fishing. So I'm just switching over to a fresher belt, something that's a little sharper. This is a zirconia belt. Should handle that spine really nice. There we go. Just a hair right in here. I just want to clean this back of the spine up where it goes from blade to, actual handle. Just want that to be organic. I want it to flow into it. The reason why I've never made my mom a knife before the kitchen is because, until this whole pandemic started, I think she had kind of given up on a lot of home cooking. And she really seems to be getting back into it. So I hope this gives her an excuse to want to do a little more. I always find that having cool tools, and nice tools to use in the kitchen actually inspires me to, be in the kitchen more, to do more, and, to kind of push myself and challenge myself. That looks great. Let me just go back and double check the rocker on this. Just gonna lift up just the hair towards the very tip. So let's just take a look here. So that knife, obviously it doesn't have the edge on it yet, but it has a decent rocker from front to back. And so for things like mincing, that's going to work really well and give you a nice roll. I still may go single bevel on this. That is really my inclination. Just being a traditionalist on this. But I really like the length on that handle. It may have to come down a little bit in its width. It all depends on what I'm going to make that material out of, or what material I'm going to make that handle out of. But
going to clean up the surface here. Kristen, if you happen to tune in and you're wondering why I sent you a link to this, because you asked me how I'm doing. And I'm just a little busy at the moment, I guess. Stuff to do. Definitely not bored. Doing well. I fixed my washing machine last week. That was the high point of my life. My daughter started school 2 weeks ago. I think every single one of my computers has crashed at least once in the past 3 months. Maybe have all that taken care of now. Oh, hey, Jeff. So I'm just checking the surface here. I can see where I've got a couple of points where I was hesitating as I was sanding this. So that's why I'm taking it on that flat side. All right. So let me get the other side. Now, if I'm going to take this and do a traditional style, as far as single bevel knife, Mom's right-handed, so that means that the side I'm working on right now, the left side of this knife, is going to be the flat side. It really does make it a lot easier to sharpen. It just means that I have to make sure that this side is going to be consistently flat. Looks good. Actually, it seems to be flattening out a little bit better than the Devabocho that I made last week. Only a couple of deep spots on there that, quite frankly, don't bother me too much. When I say deep, they're going to come out in subsequent sanding. So, again, just smoothing all this out. When you sharpen a knife with a single bevel, in order to make sure that edge is nice and crisp, you literally just sand this flat on a stone. Now, of course, I could put a little bit of a concave grind in there, That would make it nice for not sticking. But that's ever so slightly, and I can actually do that by hand. Okay. That looks good. Now I'm just going to bevel this. To bevel it, I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to use the flat portion of the flat. What do I have on there? That's 220. I'll put an 80 on there, just so I have another machine to go back to. Just want to keep those lines nice and even. And to do that, I'm trying to grind at a very consistent speed. Right now, I don't care if I get the steel too hot. Now I have 50 grit on this one and 80 on the other one, Jeff. I don't want to be creating really deep scratch marks. There we go. So I'm just going to come in, I'm going to use the edge of the wheel, just kind of bring that bevel up a little higher. But again, I don't want to go sharp with this. Not at this stage of the game. But I want it to be easy later on to go ahead and put that sharp edge on there. So for now, I'm going to just take it, give myself a little bit of a Hamagori edge. Hamagori is also known as an appleseed grind or Moran grind. The Japanese term for it is Hamagori. Figure since I'm working on a Western style Japanese knife, throw out some of those fancy terms. Cool. Very happy with that. Looks very consistent. Just need to bring that tip back. That's the hair. Cool. So, just to give you an idea, that is our Santoku so far. And the only thing I need to do yet is drill some holes in there, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do the heat treat. And then if I come back into the shop later on tonight, I'll get a lot of the sanding out of the way and cleaning up. So, but my heat treat's going to take a good 2 hours or so. So, actually longer than that now I think about it. I want to keep it a little harder than some of the knives that I do. We're not worried so much about flexibility on this knife, but we really want that edge to be hard. So let me draw this out. Yeah, I don't want Mom to have to call me all the time for sharpening. I'm going to take this handle down just a little bit in size. I just wanted to take a little bit of that width out of there, or the height of the handle. I wanted to make it a little bit more comfortable to hold. So that feels really good. My camera just seems so dark today. I wonder if my f-stop needs to be adjusted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the handle on here as that I'm planning on doing. Something like that, I think, will be perfect. So that means I want a pinhole here. And one right in between those. I think that'll work well. I wish I had some mosaic pins made up, but I don't think I do. So that would just look nice. I don't really have the time to just go ahead and make some up. I don't think I have the materials to do any mosaic pins today. So somewhere around here is a 2x4 that is my waster board, but I don't know where that got to. I'm pretty sure I need to raise this up. I guess when they made this thing in 1954, they weren't thinking about hand cranks for such a light table. But boy, it would be nice to have one on here. That's good enough. I'll go low. Good. So, let's grab that knife, drill some holes. Oh, looks like that camera froze up again. Kind of what I thought. I thought there'd be a little bit of a hard spot there. Just because there tends to be a little bit more mass for that transitions. So I'm going to move. Got to move this camera. Let's see if I can get through it. The hand press. See, there it looks like it's just going right through. That's why I love this hand crank drill press. There you go. That just, it goes through like butter and does not care about the hardness of the material sometimes. Yeah, the electric drill press there, I think the slowest it runs is at 600 RPM, and obviously I'm going a lot slower than that here. So it just pulls that seal away. Good. So we're all through with that. So there we go. There's our Santoku. We're still about 1/8 of an inch on that spine, which is probably a little bit too much, but it's going to come down more with sanding later on. So not too worried about it at the moment. Let's go ahead and I need to stamp this. Mom needs to know it's from me. Stamp it, straighten it, normalize it, and harden it. I don't know anyone in Delta, Pennsylvania. But I bet you're going to tell me about my car's extended warranty. Now I should do something about it. I don't even know where Delta, Pennsylvania is. There we go. Got my stamp. I'll turn it around. Just because this is a single bevel knife, I'm gonna do my stamping on the right side. I have a wooden box for this. That would be really nice, but probably not. Maybe I can get this all done by noon tomorrow. That'd be really nice. Then I can get to try it out before taking it over tomorrow afternoon. I don't know what they have planned for dinner. Maybe I'll have to go over and make Mom dinner. She would enjoy that. She kind of hinted at it. So let's go ahead and get this stamped. So I want to make sure that I bring it forward enough that I'm not going to cover it up with the wood handle. Let's get a little bit more heat on there. Thanks, Jeff. I think it's looking really good. And it feels really nice. There's a great distribution of weight in this. It's going to be very comfortable to use. So got it stamped. Straighten it. So I'm just going to get a little bit of heat on here just to, actually going to use the hydraulic press to make sure everything's nice and straight. Well, you know, my Mountain Dew's done. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I should switch over to something a little more adult. There we go. I've been waiting for 2 hours. Just put them in the fridge. So brought 3 of them down with me, and it's like those are a little warm. The handle looks pretty straight already. But just do it just to say we did, and I'm going to see if I can get away with just doing a single normalization cycle. Hopefully, I don't mind if I get a little bit of warp in the blade. I can fix that pretty easily, but it's I just don't want to get any on the edge.
But if I get a little bit of warp going down the spine, that's easily worked out. That looks great. That's looking really, really nice there. Yeah, and I've never been a big fan of the Sensukus, but I see the appeal in it. Jeff, if you know what size your touch mark is, I can plasma cut all the parts for you and weld them together. The biggest thing is that you need to know the exact dimensions. That way you can oversize it just a hair, but you don't want to have too much. You don't want to have too much wiggle room in there. I don't want it just slopping around, you know. Like my one is I still haven't made a guillotine tool for this one yet, but you can see the difference. Well, if I bring them over here, you can definitely see the difference in the size between two different touch marks. Really got to find out why that's so dark over here. That's not normal. I might have the whole camera on the wrong setting. One more day, it won't be an issue. Just one more day. Looks like we have a nice, consistent heat. I want to just try to get this a little deeper into the forge. But I don't want to lay it down flat. Just because I know the floor of my forge is not flat at all. So with a blade this thin, you're really asking for some sort of warping to happen. I think I'll do 2 normalization cycles on this, just because I'm looking at how fast it's cooling down in certain spots. But it really cools down quick. It's a little bit too much glare. Let's see with this camera. But you can really start to see that pattern coming out in there as well, which is going to look good. Oh. Well, so far, good day at work. I don't even know. What time did I start? I've been forging about 2 hours. Okay. That's not so bad. Still nice and straight. Good lines on that. Try over on the left side of the forge. Get it in there just a little deeper into the fire. But I also don't want to be in direct heat either. I want to try to keep this from scaling up as much as possible. Damn, now I might have to make myself a Santoku. I really want to make myself another Yanagi Ba. And I would like a Kyoto as well. And just a small. I want a knife that's almost a paring knife, but not quite. I know what I want. I know what I want it for. I want it for garnishing and stuff like that. But just something that I can finally use, or use with a lot of precision and control. So we're up to temperature. And keeping that out of the direct heat is really making that nice and even. I'm going to let it go another minute yet. Okay. This time I'm going to just lay it flat that way. You can see some areas where it kind of cools down, sort of banded strips, but I don't think that's going to affect too much. Yeah, I'm very excited to actually use this. Still nice and straight. Always check. Last thing you want to do is when there's something that could have been prevented. So now I'm going to change this camera around just a little bit. There you go. Give you a nice view of the quenching process. Making sure I have a nice consistent heat. Hesitating too long directly under that jet, it's going to give us a spot that's, a couple hundred degrees hotter. I don't want that. Okay, here we go. Still nice and straight into the oil. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Just go with air over that. And straight up out of the oil. Again, we're going to brush it off. Get rid of any scale. There is a mild, and I mean very mild, warp down the spine, but our edge looks fine. So, I know how I want to take care of that. I'm going to turn this off. I'm not going to go into too much explanation as to what I'm doing here, but eventually I'm going to. Seems like a really good topic for a Patreon video. Go into all the heat treating tricks, and at least what I do. I mean, I'm sure everybody's got their own thing as far as how they handle certain things like this. Some people would probably just redo the whole thing or whatever. I'm not saying this is the end-all, be-all way to do stuff, but it works 9 times out of 10 for me. What I need
is another C-clamp, maybe? Yeah, I think we'll be fine with that. Just kind of clamping it up. Just so when it's sitting in the heat treat, just so it doesn't work any more on me. It's not a huge warp. It's just a small amount. Most of it can probably just be ground out. That's how minimal it is. But there we have it. Three and a half inches of length, huh? So we don't have much travel this way, but we can do something for that. That wouldn't be a huge problem. What size hardy hole do you have? Oop, I reset the camera there. Oh, never mind. It's just pausing for some reason. For instance, the hardy hole that I didn't even make that particular tool for this hardy hole. This one is 1 inch by 1 inch, I think. Very close. Might actually be 7/8 by 1 inch. I think that's it. Whereas this hardy hole is 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. That's the big thing is, putting the post on it. Sometimes, with a tool like that, it's nice to just take a piece of stock, taper it, heat it up really hot, and hammer it into your hardy hole. Let it cool a little bit, which is going to contract, and then smack it from underneath to release it, and then just kind of cut it, where what would be flush, and then weld it on. But then you have something that works very specifically for your anvil. Well, let's grab another one of these. So I think I need to figure out what handle material I'm going to use. I've got some stabilized woods back here. I want to try to find something that looks nice, obviously, but also something that will look good in Mom's kitchen. And I think I'm gonna go for a thinner style on this handle, just because we do have a little bit of height there that, with her hands being smaller than mine, just what I think is going to end up being comfortable for her in the long run. And I also think she pinches a little bit more with her thumb and her index finger, which is kind of how I cut as well. I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched my mom actually do anything in the kitchen, so. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm gonna, once this is done with the hardening, I think I'm gonna go ahead and rough sand it out tonight if I have the time, and I probably won't stream that. It's a little on the boring side, but hopefully tomorrow. I'd like to go a little earlier, maybe noon or so. Yeah, Jeff, just
3/8 by 3/4 by 3.5. Jeff. Guillotine. I gotta see. I think I have. Now I need to reset the camera. I think I have some 3/8 plate sitting around. No, I definitely have 1/4 inch floating around here. And that should be fine for what we're talking about with the guillotine tool. It doesn't need to take too much abuse. It's just there to really hold it. But boy, is it so much more convenient. You'll really appreciate having it. But yeah, we'll talk about that at a later date. So yeah, I think I'm gonna rough sand this out later on tonight. I can just do it very quickly and maybe even get some of the hand sanding out of the way. Tomorrow I'll do the handle for the live stream and sharpen it up and make it nice and quick. So again, I hope everyone had a great holiday this past weekend. Seems like some of you guys got some stuff done. I know I did. And I think tomorrow is going to be the last live stream for the week because I think I have students later on this week. We'll see how they feel. If they want to go live, I will be more than happy to do that for a portion of the forging. But again, it's all up to them. So thanks again, guys, for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night and good luck.
Have no bubble bath, and I'm in it.